What a blessing to have such an amazing national leader on our campus with such a powerful and inspiring message. Would you all please help me thank President Whitfield one more time? By the way, sir, I want you to know you look good with that orange tie and that tiger paw. All right, you look good. And you've given us a lot to think about. And if you looked over at me, and I know you did several times, I was writing down so many notes. And I want to mention just a few of those right now, if that's okay. And I think if you said this, you said the power, the promise, and the burden of diversity. You talked about the inclusion instinct, which I absolutely loved your message. You talked about listening. You talked about limiting judgment. You talked about reaching understanding. To our students, you gave a great message about chasing your dreams, the power of visualization, the importance of education, and the importance of giving back. I loved your example of the makeup of your basketball team and the differences in the backgrounds and the skill sets. And you stressed the importance many times over about the importance of relationships and what's on the inside of a person. You challenged us to think about unconscious bias that exists in our lives and to think through that. You talked about a great example of sports as a bridge. And you talked about at the Hornets, diversity drives better results in innovation. And you talked about the positive results that come from a diverse leadership team. I'll tell you what, sir, the Hornets are blessed to have you. Would you please thank him one more time? So I'd now like to, oh, by the way, I did have one other note I wanted to mention. I talked to Coach Brownell yesterday. You mentioned him, and he wanted me to pass along his good thoughts to you. He's actually in Charlotte today for the ACC Media Day, but wishes that he could be here with you, and he thanks you for coming to the campus. I would now like to call forward my friend Dr. Jim Bostic to help me present the James E. Bostic Jr. Diversity and Inclusive Excellence Award. This award recognizes faculty, staff, and students for displaying an exceptional commitment to fostering an inclusive environment in which diversity and inclusion are understood, valued, respected, and appreciated. Would you please help me welcome Dr. Bostic to the stage? This award is presented annually to individuals who have made an outstanding contribution to creating an inclusive and welcoming community at Clemson University by implementing an initiative in the classroom, workplace, or campus community that fosters relationships, that advances acceptance, appreciation, respect, diversity, and inclusive excellence. The award includes this beautiful vase and a $1,000 cash prize. I want to thank Dr. Bostic for his generous support of this award and for his outstanding leadership over the years. Dr. Bostic was the first African American to earn a PhD here at Clemson, and he has been a strong advocate for the university and has pushed us to become more diverse and to embrace the wonderful benefits that come with an increase in diversity. Dr. Bostic, thank you for your friendship and for all that you are doing for this great university. This year's award recipient has been a strong supporter of equity, diversity, and inclusion from the moment he arrived on our great campus in 2014. After earning a bachelor's degree in civil engineering from the Citadel, he went on to earn his master's degree and PhD from Virginia Tech, and then he joined the faculty at Virginia Tech. His areas of expertise include geotechnical earthquake and foundation engineering, and he is the director of our Risk Engineering and Systems Analytics Center that serves as a risk management resource for businesses and insurance groups. Since joining the Clemson faculty, he has been especially supportive of our efforts to recruit and retain students from underrepresented groups into the STEM majors, and I know that a lot of students in our engineering programs look up to him as an important mentor. He has been involved with our Imagine outreach program that takes hands-on engineering activities into middle schools and high schools across the state to get more students interested in science and engineering. He also assisted with Clemson Engineers for Developing Countries, which sends students and faculty to places like Haiti to develop sustainable solutions to infrastructure problems such as a lack of clean water. His nominator wrote, and I quote, "He has made it clear to me that we all must work together to create a more inviting Clemson community." As effective leaders do, he complements his spoken word of positive change with his actions. Unselfishly, he stays in touch with his students inside and outside of the classroom. He also provides support to faculty members who are going the extra mile to create a more inclusive environment. He lives as an example, a beacon of hope and a change agent for underrepresented scholars like himself. His rate of making change is incredible, even in his short tenure at Clemson. I look forward to seeing more barriers get broken under his leadership because, as he loves to say, this is just the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to present this year's James E. Bostic Jr. Diversity and Inclusive Excellence Award to Dr. James R. Martin, Chair of the Glenn Department of Civil Engineering and the Robert Ben Moshe Endowed Professor in Risk Engineering and Systems Analytics. Dr. Martin. I'd like to offer Dr. Martin a chance to say a few words to us.
Thank you so much for the very kind introduction. And well, I tell you, this is a great place to be here at Clemson and a great time to be at Clemson. I so enjoyed the comments by Fred Whitfield. The cool thing about being in a university is your job every day is to inspire people to learn and to think about what can be. And Fred Whitfield represents the epitome of what can be. And that kind of leadership, and I particularly like your hairstyle, Fred, so at least I'm there for a long. So just a word or two as the very gracious introduction by Dr. Clements. I'm coming back from South Carolina. South Carolina is my home. Most of my career was spent up at Virginia Tech, so I've been here just about in my third year here. And one of the reasons I came back here was to make a difference in South Carolina. I've never moved too far away from South Carolina, always kept in touch with what's happening here. And I've just witnessed from afar the amazing growth and opportunity in this area. And there's so many of us that are involved and certainly deserving of this type of recognition. I want to acknowledge a couple of people that have been strong partners, particularly in the STEM fields. And one is the Dean of the College, Anand Gramapati. The other is Sarita Acker, who runs our Pure and Wise programs. We have been a trio to talk about how we can increase diversity. Actually, before I was even installed as department chair here at Clemson, Dean Gramapati and I were coming along at the same time. He was being installed as dean at about the time I was being installed as the department chair. And even before I was officially here doing the interview process, we started talking about all the responsibility we have to really make this state and this university one of the best in the nation. And we knew that a critical ingredient in excellence is what, if you distill down what Fred Whitfield just said, inclusion and diversity, they're not just social goods. They are absolute, fundamental, critical ingredients for excellence. And as this university transitions from being a very, very good university into an elite university, and you can see that happening, consistent excellence is required. And that means that we have to really focus on diversity. In fact, there are research studies that show how much diversity, whether it's diversity of thought, diversity of background, gender, ethnic background, and that number is about 35%. Organizations and institutions that have that much diversity are more productive than others. And if we look at South Carolina and the amazing growth that we have in this region, I-85 corridor, This is the fastest growing area in the country. Particularly Charleston's the fastest growing city. 50 new people a day are moving into the Charleston area. Greenville is the second fastest. We're at the geographic center of something really amazing happening, and it's not just the growth, it's who is coming here. And the answer to that is the rest of the world is coming to Clemson in this region. This is an international destination now. You've got big companies coming here. Of course, we've got the BMWs, the Volvos, the Michelins, the Mercedes, and Boeing. If memory serves me correctly, those companies don't make a habit of making bad decisions. They usually there's a reason why they are investing in this region. And so we're in a unique position. It means our area is growing. That's good from an academic standpoint because it means demands for our program is growing. Not all institutions have the luxury of increasing demand for their programs. That's a great thing. It also means that because we're growing in population, we have an opportunity to more effectively address diversity and inclusion, which is more difficult when you have a static or slowly growing population. All of that means that there are very few states in the country that show as much promise as South Carolina, and there are very few universities positioned like Clemson is to make as big a difference in their states, in their region, and globally with all the international multinational companies here than Clemson. And if you put all that together, what it means is this is the place to be. It also means we've got a lot of work to do, and I couldn't be prouder of what this university is doing. That's why so many of us, the entire university, we all are starting to really move inevitably where we have to go to achieve consistent excellence. And I couldn't be prouder to be anywhere else. Other groups are moving along the same way. I was just at the University of Florida earlier this week. They have had declining enrollments in the College of Engineering. I was talking to the dean, Cami Abernathy, in the College of Engineering. They've had declining enrollments, but they have had an increase in ethnic minorities, and they've also had an increase in junior. They've increased their undergraduate student population in the College of Engineering female by 43% over the last 5 years, and they've increased the number of underrepresented African Americans and Hispanic by 31% over the last 5 years. It can be done. My colleagues up at Virginia Tech, the president, Tim Sands, I was back in Blacksburg recently, and he calls himself the Chief Diversity Officer of the university. And so if you ask me what keeps me up at night, it's the same thing that keeps me charging hard. Are we transforming fast enough as a university? Are we listening close enough to our constituents? As Fred Whitfield said, our constituents are saying, we want a more highly trained, diverse workforce to carry us through the 21st century. We look at changes in students and the way they learn. We look at this new millennial generation. They look at content and accreditation differently. And so we'll probably see changes in the function of physical location at a campus. We'll probably see where introductory courses are not taught by all universities. We'll fundamentally use brick and mortar. Brick and mortar facilities will always be important, but we'll need a higher level of engagement, and we'll have to have transdisciplinary programs. So I ask myself, are we moving fast enough in those directions? Because if we don't do that, somebody else will fill that need. And so we have an amazing opportunity. Couldn't be more excited about being right here at Clemson. And so it's certainly with a great sense of gratitude and humility and responsibility that I accept this award. And I am all in for Clemson. Go Tigers, and go Hornets. Beat Milwaukee.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
That's from Dr. Bostic.
Okay, thank you.
Here's the picture.